Have you ever wished to be someone who is unshakable? Someone who doesn't care about criticism, rejection, loss, or betrayal? Have you ever dreamed of the day when you will finally stop feeling that silent pain, that anguish that eats you up inside, even when you pretend to be fine on the outside? Maybe you are tired of trying to please everyone, of maintaining an image that requires strength all the time, when in reality all you wanted was to rest, just for a moment, from the pressure of being strong, of being untouchable. You are smart, you are ambitious, you are a strategist. But one poorly chosen word, one look of disapproval, one person's silence, and all of your internal certainty crumbles. You feel that sharp, invisible sting, and you hate yourself for it. You hate that you are still so affected. Why? Why do you, who can deconstruct complex ideas and build strategies, fall apart over something so small? This is the crack in the armor. And this crack is where our journey begins. Because let me tell you something that perhaps no one has had the courage to say. As long as you try to avoid this pain, it will continue to control you. As long as you try to numb yourself, to protect yourself, to hide, you will remain a hostage to the words that hurt you, to the actions that disappoint you, to the silences that kill you inside. You believe that what hurts you is out there. It's in the actions of others, in the betrayals you did not expect, in the criticism you did not deserve. But the truth is brutal. None of this has the power to hurt you. Not really. It doesn't hurt you unless there is already an open wound inside you. What hurts you is not what others do to you. It is what these experiences activate within you. It is the story you tell yourself about it. It is the old trauma that has never been addressed. It is the emptiness you disguise with strength, with pride, with that desperate need to seem well-adjusted. That is why some people can go through devastating situations and still maintain clarity, while others crumble in the face of a simple comment. It is not about what happens, it is about where it hits. And here comes the uncomfortable truth. You still suffer so much because, on some level, you believe you can control how the world should treat you. You are still trying to be good enough, smart enough, successful enough, as if that will guarantee that no one will hurt you. This is the control trap, and it is the greatest illusion of all. As long as you cling to this illusion, you live in constant tension, trying to predict the unpredictable, trying to avoid the inevitable. You are building armor, but you are leaving the wound underneath to fester, untouched and infected. Your freedom does not begin when you successfully manage the world. Your freedom begins the moment you understand that everything that comes from the outside only has power if it finds an echo within you. And this echo is exactly where the true battlefield lies. This is the greatest lie you've been told. No, the greatest lie you tell yourself, that you are in control, that you, with your willpower and your logic, are the one steering the ship. But are you? Carl Jung made this terrifyingly clear, and this is the truth that should keep you awake at night. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And that fate, that is exactly what you are living right now. That recurring pattern of self-sabotage, that magnetic pull toward the exact kind of person who will break you, that explosive anger that comes from nowhere, that hollow sadness that floods in when everything is supposed to be fine. This is not random. This is not bad luck. These are messages. They are emergency flares being shot from a forgotten territory deep inside you, a place where you have exiled every memory you don't want to face, every trauma you were told to get over, and every desire you were taught to be ashamed of. This is the unconscious. It is not just a vague cloud of thoughts. It is an active force, a living system operating in the dark, and it is pulling the strings. The pain, the anxiety, the anger, that is its language. You are not in control of your life because you are being controlled by the parts of yourself that you refuse to see. You are not a puppet, but you are being guided by strings you do not understand. It is time to start seeing the strings. So, what do you do once you feel those strings? When you feel threatened, exposed, and vulnerable? To protect yourself, most people choose the common path. They build walls. They become cold. They become cynical. They wrap themselves in a thick armor of indifference. You have heard this. Perhaps you have even said it. I don't care. It doesn't get to me. But this is a trap. This is not strength. This is numbness. This is fear that has frozen over. And numbness is a living death. You may avoid the pain, but you also sacrifice your capacity for joy, for connection, for meaning. You are living a life half-lived. True strength, what Carl Jung called the process of individuation, is not about building higher walls. It is about having the courage to need no walls at all. It is not an act of resistance. It is an act of integration. It is the terrifying, courageous work of looking at the parts of yourself that you hate, the fear, the insecurity, the envy, the shame, and choosing to say, "You are a part of me too, and I will listen to you." Because here is the secret. You do not become untouchable when the world can no longer hurt you. You become untouchable when you realize that nothing from the outside can harm what you have already embraced on the inside. When you have faced your own shadow, the shadows of others no longer have power over you. You are no longer a reactive puppet, triggered by every careless word. You become whole.
But we have been taught to hate this messenger. Since you were a child, you learned that suffering is a sign of weakness, that pain is a problem to be solved, a symptom to be medicated, a fire to be extinguished as quickly as possible. So you run, you numb, you distract, you do anything to avoid feeling it. But the more you flee from suffering, the more it chases you, and it changes form. Ignored pain does not disappear. It simply digs tunnels inside you. It metastasizes. It turns into that low-grade anxiety you can't explain, that apathy, that boredom, that sudden rage, that impulse to self-destruct just when things are getting good. Jung saw this in a completely different way. He believed that pain was the messenger of the soul, the alarm of the unconscious. He said, "Depression is like a lady in black. If she appears, do not push her away. Invite her to sit and listen to what she has to say." But you don't listen. You silence her. You distract yourself. You stay busy. What is this pain trying to show you? Here is a practical truth. Your triggers are not your enemy. They are your map. They are the red X on the treasure map of your psyche, pointing directly to the wound. That situation that makes you irrationally angry, that person who fills you with envy, that is the gateway. Pain is the fire that burns away the superficial, the false persona you've built to survive. It is a process of death and rebirth. It hurts. Of course it hurts. Letting go of old beliefs hurts. But it is precisely in this space of ruin that something new can be born. This is not a failure of the system. This is the system working perfectly. This path of integration, it is not for everyone. It demands a courage that few are willing to summon. It demands that you stop pointing fingers at the world, that you stop blaming your past or your circumstances, and that you take absolute, terrifying responsibility for your own internal state. And yes, this path comes with a price. That price is often loneliness, not because you will be physically alone, but because most people are and will remain committed to living on the surface. They prefer the comfort of the mask, the safety of the herd. When you begin this journey into the depths, when you start to become whole, you inevitably distance yourself from those who are still fragmented. You no longer fit in the old places. This is not rejection. It is maturation. But here is the reward. Here is the ultimate shield. It is not the strength you were seeking. It is not a harder shell or a colder heart. The only true shield is consciousness. It is clarity. When you have done the work, when you truly understand your triggers,
When you have faced your wounds, when you know your own darkness, the actions of others lose their destructive power. The insult, the rejection, the betrayal, they still arrive. You see them. You may even feel the sting. But they no longer find an echo. They no longer possess you. You stop reacting to life, and you start responding. You still feel the pain, but you do not drown in it. You still suffer, but you do not lose yourself. The world may try to knock you down, but it no longer finds anywhere to hit. You are no longer fragmented. You are whole. We begin. Tired of the silent pain, tired of being reactive to criticism and rejection. We try to build armor, to control the world so it cannot hurt us. But this is the trap. The brutal truth is that the external world is just a mirror. The pain is not inflicted by others. It is activated from wounds already inside you. The real master pulling the strings is your own unconscious, the parts of you that you have repressed and ignored. Jung called this the shadow. The world's false solution is to become numb, cold, and indifferent. This is not strength. This is a living death. The true path, individuation, is not resistance. It is integration. It is the courageous act of facing your own darkness, your fears, your shame. You must understand that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the messenger, and your triggers are the map pointing directly to what needs to be healed. True strength is not a wall. It is wholeness. When you integrate your shadow, you are no longer a puppet. You still feel, but you are no longer controlled. This is the ultimate shield, consciousness. The most profound lesson is this: stop treating your triggers as a weakness. Your triggers are a gift. They are not a sign that you are broken. They are a sign that you are ready to heal. The parts of you that react the most violently are the parts that need your attention the most. Here is the practical application. The next time you feel that intense emotional reaction, anger, deep shame, or defensive, do not run from it. Do not immediately blame the person who caused it. Pause. Ask yourself one question. What old wound is this touching? Is it an old fear of not being good enough? A fear of abandonment? A fear of being unseen? Just by seeing the connection, just by becoming conscious of the real source, you begin to take the power away from the trigger and give it back to yourself. You move from reacting to observing. That is the first and most powerful step to integration. If this content challenged you and gave you value, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It truly supports the channel and gives us the motivation to continue making deep dive content that respects your intelligence. Thank you for walking this path with us. Watch the next video coming up.